Oh my god. I had to freaking... I had to scroll so far down my library to find this game because I bought it when it came out, and it's been like 3 months since then. I'm so sorry, Pathologic. For those that don't know, I'm one of the few people on YouTube, I think, that did full playthroughs of all 3 campaigns of Pathologic 1. And then Pathologic 2 came out in 2019. Oh my god, 2019. And it's been a while since then. I think at the time we thought they were going to get the other 2 campaigns into Pathologic 2 at some point, but it just was too much of an undertaking, it seems. And so all these years later, they finally got the Bachelor campaign out, but as Pathologic 3, which at this point makes sense. I feel like if you tried to do an update, paid or free, to an old game from 7 years ago, it's going to have very limited fanfare and attention, especially when the game didn't necessarily perform super well. So I feel like it's reasonable to make each one its own game for funding them and so on. I'm sorry, wish list our next game Darkwood 2? I didn't know they were taking over Darkwood. I didn't know anything about that. That's interesting. Darkwood's also a very interesting game as far as like being mechanically driven goes. But yeah, Pathologic 1 and 2 are games that I have referred to constantly whenever I'm playing any game that involves any level of open world, specifically because I'm so disappointed by how little those games actually have any kind of mechanical involvement. The open world is so often just a checklist of boring tasks with no risks, no mechanics, no actual like balancing act, or like just not asking anything of the player. And so what's interesting about Pathologic 1 and 2 is having to play it on a schedule and balance so many different resources and goals, and the traversal itself is its own challenge and so on. And Pathologic 2 in particular was just a very interesting sort of sequel remake thing in the style of like Zelda sequels, where it's like telling the same story kind of in the same location kind of, but everything's kind of shuffled and none of the exact individual quests and moments are the same moments, which I thought was a neat way of doing things, and is a decent way of handling Pathologic sequels, honestly. But it was it had all these interesting little twists going on, like how it had sort of like a anti-save scumming thing it was doing to screw with you, where you could save and load, but it was all happening within a system where the game was remembering what you were doing actually on a different level, on a different shell layer. So like your deaths had permanent consequences, even that you couldn't load the saves around. You could like keep reloading your saves to like try to fix what happened in the story, but there was permanent consequences for your character and so on. Like that's just a fun idea. It was a thing that I didn't expect, that specifically messed with me for what I didn't know about the last game and so on. I'm a little worried and intimidated just because, one, these are challenging games that ask a lot of you, but also I was kind of more steeped in the lore back then. I did all 3 of the first campaign playthroughs and the sequel relatively close together. It has now been about 6 to 7 years since Pathologic 2. I don't remember as much as I wish I did necessarily, but we're finally gonna get around to it. Patreon voted for it, so it's finally time to play Pathologic 3. I would have played it sooner, but oh my god, the schedule was so full with Silksong and whatnot. Games are long now, guys. They need to chill. Every game takes 4 months to beat.
I am Daniil Dankovsky, Bachelor of Medicine. All my life I have been studying death, the greatest boundary holding humanity back. The powers that be were frightened of my search. My lab in the capital was about to be closed. But it cannot be denied that some phenomena might be found only in the strangest, most remote parts of our country. Little towns that are yet to be explored by forward-thinking minds. People accept the supposed imminence of death way too easily. We meekly follow our life's path to it, like cattle to the slaughter. But we shouldn't. My search for immortality has brought me rumors of one, Simon Kane, a supposedly immortal man living in one such town. He might be just the proof all my theories need. the final patient. I need to find him, or else all my life's work is doomed.
That's interesting. Right out the gate, the big bowl. A whole sort of festival parade thing for a celebration and a ritual that had been referred to in the original game and kind of seen. But, oh, it's immediately nighttime. Wasn't it daytime when I got off the train 1 second ago? Interesting. Are there subtitles to turn on? Because it seemed like that was notably missing. Voice, invert mouse, hints and thoughts, large text. Curious. Maybe turn the music down a little bit because it felt like the things were getting drowned out a little bit. The voices. Motion blur intensity. I love low quality. All right, let's turn it down then if it's going to be low quality. But yeah, we saw the big parade with the bowl. I don't see any subtitle setting. I guess it's probably mostly in like RPG style dialogue anyway. We don't normally see that parade playing out necessarily, but we know that that specific sacrifice does happen and that matters. And that there's specifically a conflict between Artemy and the Bachelor. I should call them the Haruspecs and the Bachelor, or Artemy and Daniil to have parody. They specifically have a conflict. That's one of the more memorable moments of the original game over that specific cow. Some objects can be useful. I can spot them easily if I hit Q to concentrate. Some thoughts will affect your mental state. Just in general, just to let you know. There's a lot going on up here too. We have a squiggly meter. We got a different meter. This, which might be where I am on the meter. This is equilibrium, I guess. We have a heart. Apathy versus mania. Loot. Freshman's watch. Nika gave this to me on my first day at university. The inscription reads, Ad multos annos. That's my inventory. I expected this to be where the loot was. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. Why does this random box have a keepsake of mine? Bromide increases inhibition in the cerebral cortex, which is to say, dulls one's brain. Sometimes you need that. You need just that. Apathy. Addictive. Less effective with every use. That's alarming. The first thing we're introduced to isn't physical medicine or food or any of the stuff we're used to getting in these games, but instead specifically something that increases an addictive apathy booster. Hello, child. Hey! Eyes on us! The thief's seen us! The thief! Mr. Thief, are you for real? Say something in thief speak. Your furum cognoscitek. The Latins never minded taking what was not theirs. Thief! Thief! You stole the train's heart, you did. Just ripped it out and stole it. And now it'll die without a heart. Many creatures in this world survive perfectly well without hearts. A train, I believe, would belong to the order Crassiclitellata. Worms. They don't need hearts. Are you stupid, mister? Worms don't look like that at all. And they have arms and legs and a forehead. And 2 hearts. One in his chest, the other in his wife's. Interesting. Worms. Do they call those other guys worms? The pale, blobby guys that wear the robes? Is that the comparison? Worms don't have wives. Haha, you're not just a thief, but a dummy, too. If worms don't have wives, then who does the dances? Who makes grass grow? You think it grows by itself? That's the women that wear the rags, right? Listen, boy. Enough jokes for today. I've come to this town on important business, which I cannot conduct without my microscope and my prototype. Please return them to me. Hey, hold on. No need for all the begging and the politeness. What did I even do to you anyway? I didn't take nothing. It was all Jekka. My microscope and prototype are precise, delicate instruments. If they break, they'll only be scrap, metal, and glass. They'll just die, like the train. You don't want that, do you? I don't? Then tell me where Jekka's taken them. Jekka's taking the heart back to go fix the train. That way, to its face. Am I a snitch now, Mr. Thief? No. A snitch is someone who runs off to inform without being asked to do so. You're an honest witness. Interesting. So my stuff is missing. Oh, there's my shit. Yep. A beetle. Some arthropods live forever. Others, not even a day. But to children, they're all one thing. Shiny. Sure. It's interesting being back. And also it being so different. It is not... None of this is evocative to me of Pathologic 2. It's not memorable in the same... No, I don't mean to say it's not memorable. It doesn't evoke the previous game. I don't remember the interface being like this or any elements being like this. So it's, instead of being a... Like, I think for a while we kind of thought it'd be another campaign in the style of the previous one. Especially since when people were expecting to be an update. But it seems to be just a full-on different game with a completely different approach, which makes sense because as things compromised and changed over time, it sounded more and more like this one's going to be some kind of like non-linear time thing that's going to be... Like, I don't even know if this game has an open world, which will be a very big change if you don't like navigate actively the same way I'm used to. The mind map. My thoughts, conclusions, deliberations. To see the events of a specific day, press its number in the circle. So we're on day 1. Oh my goodness. Okay, I remember there being some kind of mind map last time. A way of indicating what the hell's going on with all the main and side quests and so on. Immortal man. Simon Kane, an alleged immortal, lives in this town. Understanding him is the only way to save my Thanatica. Are you chasing shadows again, Dankovsky? Are you serious? I barely stepped off the train and my things were immediately stolen. Ah, the joys of rural life. Without my tools, I'm useless. I must find the prototype and the microscope. They're vital. And there's the map. This looks very familiar. I don't think the map layout has necessarily changed all that much. And the two competing landmarks, I guess the train station almost counts, but not really. It's primarily the polyhedron and the abattoir, which is a word that I got really used to because of this game, which itself obviously looks like a heart. It's obviously shaped like a heart with 2 valves and everything. And this thing looks like a big old stinger stabbed into the earth. There's always the question of what to do with these. The neighborhoods are all here. And the gut, the tanners, skinners, the maw, the marrow. Yep. That's like the horn of a bull. The whole thing's sort of shaped like a hunched bull. It's a wild idea for a game overall. Okay, so try to find my shit. I say, a living, breathing person stepped off our train. Do you normally only get dead people? Where did you come from? The capital. Daniil Dankovsky, Bachelor of Medicine. I am told a supposed immortal man, Simon Kane, lives here. I have come to study him. Right. You city folk always take 20 trunks of shirts with you, or do you manage to cut them down to 10, sir? Eight. I had to sit on the last one. Where can I find a constable? Who do I talk to about recovering my stolen property? It's just kids being kids. No need to be mean to them. What? Should I thank them? Give them candy? Exactly. If you need your shirts so badly, why don't you go looking for the tots that ran away with them? Just ask them nicely. These kids are like magpies. They'll trade your precious linens from the capital back in exchange for bits of colored glass, or even just a story. But whatever you do, don't hurt them. I have plenty of stories to tell, but usually they involve vivisections. I suppose kids do like that sort of thing. Say, is the capital a real place? What kind of question is that? The Cains came from the capital and made our town, but no other real people have come from there ever since. So I was thinking, perhaps Simon Cain simply made up the capital, along with everything else. What do you mean they made your town? No, never mind. Trunks first, Cains later. Have a nice day. I'm enjoying the dialogue already. It's fun to read out. And it's going to be fun in particular because the Bachelor is a prick. He's just designed to be a prick. That's his whole thing. He's a fish out of water and a prick. He is supposed to be sort of the tutorial character, but that concept of having 3 campaigns in the same game and developing them all individually as an indie developer while also doing a 3D open world with all these assets and shit got a little out of hand. My understanding is that they were developing a 3-campaign game again with 2, but then it was not working, and they realized that the Harrowspecs was the one that was the closest to being finished, so they went ahead and finished. They focused on just his campaign, and then that became Pathologic 2 in its entirety, which was not their ideal approach because famously, that character lives here already in this very strange land and already knows what's going on, which means there's a lot of assumptions about their culture that aren't explained outright, and so you're kind of thrown in the deep end a little bit. So in the original game, people usually recommend playing the Bachelor because the Bachelor is specifically an outsider, which means that some people will sometimes explain some things to him in an attempt to get something out of him, probably. But if nothing else, at least when you don't know what's going on, he also doesn't know what's going on. So you're at least on the same page as each other, because he just came in from the capital, where we can presume things are vaguely familiar in some way. It's some kind of city that we never get to see normally, but it's probably kind of intuitive and familiar in a way that this place is not immediately, because this place has a bunch of mystic stuff going on and it's very strange. Reasoning. Sometimes I need to take a step back from the moment and think logically through something. It helps me piece the picture together. My luggage, some suitcases are missing. What a warm welcome. What a warm welcome. No one will help me. I'll have to handle this myself. Microscope and prototype matter the most. That last bit of choice. Oh, I've become mania. Oh. No help at all. So I chose how to interpret the information, I think. Interesting. Utopia. Such a serene place. If immortality still exists in our country, it would be here. Is this place serene if you're immediately getting stuff stolen from you? But Utopia is essentially the Bachelor's goal. In a way, it kind of might be everyone's goal. The three protagonists. I think Utopia is basically the name of the game in Russian, and it's the localized name in English is Pathologic, which is not the same word at all. No help at all. Locals treat children with a strange deference. I'll have to catch the thieves myself. New shoes. May I introduce you to Station Mud? Ooh. The tragic trail of my eviscerated suitcases leads in this direction. Ah. So to the left from the station. It did go further down that way and not this way. Yeah, looking at where this part of the station is, if I go right, I'll be going into town. If I go left, I'll be going back towards the tracks. It looks like a lot of the crossings are currently disabled. To stop me from wandering into the overall world during this part. We have thoughts, we have things. Nervous tension makes me quicker. This looks like it probably has more space for status effects that are probably introduced over time, but right now I just have health and mania, apparently. Ooh. Beyond the board, queens, pieces, advanced pawns, pawns. That first little kid was called a pawn. I don't remember if the sweeper was called a pawn or not. Beyond the board. That's interesting. There's no kings, only queens. I imagine these are like the 5 regional leaders throughout the town. There's a ranking system. Beyond the board, I would assume, would be people from the capital or something. Which weren't usually characters, unless you were counting Aglaya? Was that her name? Whew. Jump cut. Getting over a sickness, so I have to take a break every 20 minutes or so to like just clear myself out, basically. Yay! I love persistent sinus problems from an illness. They really fuck with your ability to do a job where you record your voice for a living. Hello.
You'll think of something, won't you?
Oh, it's Avian. She's on the train? So that's what you're like. Dead tired and covered in dust. Daniil Dankovsky at your service. You're restless. We hardly see anyone like that in our sleepy little town. Even the Canes have gone into hibernation as the years passed. Were you expecting me? Of course. Simon said I'd be your guide, and I always listened to him. Simon? Simon Kane. Simon Kane. He left you in my care. Said you'd be staying at my house. Oh, it has a name. The Stillwater. And this won't be the first time it's had guests. But most don't last long. I think you will, though. I've already prepared everything. Most don't last long. Is that a threat? Of course not, silly. The Stillwater is just a very unique house. It used to be an observatory, and now people live inside, but it still longs for the heavens all the same. It draws something out of people. You'll see for yourself. I'll come when I sort out my missing luggage. You've got interesting kids in this town. Before I knew it, I'd already lost my suitcases. Whoa, whoa, she's gone. Oh, that's eerie. Are those two of the sisters out there? The leaf. Oh, the sun's coming up. 8 a.m. Getting a sense of what to expect from this place. Gotta be a little careful because it's kind of... Time's just kind of actively going, isn't it? Should be a little worried about that. Ava. Simon was expecting me. A place was prepared at Stillwater. The guest house, as far as I can tell. Right by the temple, too. It's a really particularly located place. Given how almost everybody else seems to live roughly together. A lot of festival trappings. Oh, that's beautiful. Nope, is that a worm? And a worm wife? Yep. Don't think anyone's gonna talk to me though. Hey! Back off, you. Get away from the girls. And from me too. I ain't afraid of Uncle Roan when he boozes up. And I ain't afraid of you neither. I got a knife. You can't hurt us, got it? Boozes up? What the hell are you talking about? I'm not drunk. Your hands are shaking and you've got those crazy eyes. Uncle Roan gets those eyes too when he reaches for a second bottle and the shakes. Then he picks fights. Well, don't even think about picking a fight with me. I got a real knife, I do. Wait, hold on. If I look like that Uncle Roan of yours, that means I really do need to cool down first. Give me a moment, I'll take a breather. Frightening extremes. It's hard for me to talk to people when I'm too apathetic or manic. I'll need to stabilize my condition first. I got too manic. Oh, wow. Nervous tension makes me quicker. Head swing. My state of mind can be changed with drugs. Some make me more apathetic, others more manic. I need to keep an eye on my mental state and supply of drugs. So the dialogue's being affected by this stuff. Less effective with every use is a little alarming.
The cinematograph stops.
That's a pretty classic pathologic moment with drugs. Using something, having it be barely effective, and being warned that it's also harming you for trying to use it at all. And you're like, what do you mean? That's all it did, but also it's gonna get weaker every time after this, and also it's addictive? Is that my breathing? Is that how like manic I apparently am? Nuh-uh. It's quiet. It's dead already. A dead heart keeps beating for 40 days. That's what my mom says. It couldn't have been dead that long. Do it. Tack it on. It won't fit in there. It just won't. Told you we should have stuck it in the belly, not the mouth. Life's in the belly. Everyone knows that. No, a locomotive's life sits in the front with the driver. That's where the fire is, so the heart should be too. That's what Boulder told me. We have a choice here of basically humoring them or being like, oh shit, that's my prototype, stop it. Which are different reactions, essentially. Question is whether or not playing along a bit is the better way of getting what we want or not. Like, sort of confirming their delusions, which also may or may not be delusions in this setting. You're Jekka, right? You're correct. A train's life is in its locomotive, which is housed in the front. Ah! Be gone, vile snake! You killed the other trains, didn't you? It's 'cause you they don't come to us no more. We were wondering. And we didn't know why they kept dying. We got a whole graveyard. They're all rusted up. And they can't go anywhere. And it's all because of you. You stole the train's heart for yourself and carried it away in a suitcase. And now the train's all dead. Interesting. I was going to say it's because of the quarantine, but I don't think the quarantine has actually started yet. The trains are specifically all shutting down. It sounds like they've just been failing already, so there might only be one remaining functioning train. But it might just be that it might not even be like tied to the functionality. It might be like tied to trade dying down or something. If the train stopped coming a long time ago, it can't be my fault. I've never been here before, and I'm not very good at stealing hearts. That's true. Never seen him here before. So he steals hearts from the future, then? You steal hearts from the future, mister? You said yourself the train's heart is in the front. I rode in the carriage in the middle. How could I get to the heart, then? Through the bowels, like all men could do. You don't get to the heart through the bowels, my young friend. You'll hit quite a different body part first. With that, the train stopped wailing. Stopped moving, too. That means it's dead. So this is its heart. Obvious, right? Well, that's a bit simplistic. Response to stimuli is just one characteristic of life. It's not exhaustive. What are the others? Heredity. Before, trains came every week. Then it was every 2 weeks. Now it's every 2 months or even less. And they don't leave ever. They just lay there and wait. It's because of the war. No, it's because they don't love us no more. But if we heal this one, they'll love us again. And they'll come back and bring meringues. Like a lemon meringue. I wasn't expecting that. Look, my prototype is not the train's heart, and it certainly won't repair it. But it's an interesting thing in itself. So let's make a deal. You give it back, and I'll tell you how it works. I don't know. There will be corpses in the tail, a whole pile of them. These corpses, were they stabbed or strangled? The kin must never cut, they only strangle. So if they were stabbed, kin didn't do it. Look here. Let me take the prototype. I won't run away. I promise. To wind it up, you need to turn this handle clockwise. This guy was just threatening me with a knife 1 second ago. Oh, the capital 2 weeks ago. Hello. Those are certainly sounds. Toxin from the Institute. Stimulant from the Institute. Anesthetic from the Institute. Toxin from the Institute, for pest control purposes, kept under lock and key behind 7 seals, issued only with a written permit. Stimulant from the Institute. Shortages of stimulants are a persistent issue. Students borrow them to prepare for exams, then forget to return them. Anesthetic from the Institute. Easy access to an endless supply of pharmaceuticals can lead one to addiction. Just taking all their shit. Hahaha. Can I take this with me to the future?
People, yes. God's skin, covered in skin. That's what they are. People.
Alright, I'm not trusting the doctors in this setting. So we're back in the capital, back where the Bachelor came from in the institute that he works for. So we're gonna get insight into them this time instead of it just being a suggestion. To prime it, hold this crank and turn it clockwise. Chief? Hello? Oh, for crying out loud, your mind's flown away again. Prime the what now? This morgue is swimming in a gas leak from Lab 102. I heard the alarm. That's right. I pulled the alarm because of the chlorine from Lab 102. Anyway, the crank is stiff, so you'll have to turn it with some force. Clayton, are you crazy? There's a gas leak. Why did you call me in here for? We have to seal the morgue and evacuate quickly. No, Daniil. What we have to do is load the prototype you're fiddling with and use it to get into the morgue. A woman rose from the dead in there, and it will be, I think you'll agree, extremely frustrating if she dies again. We must get her out. Risen from the dead? I was collecting tissue samples to determine the onset of rigor mortis when I heard a noise. I turned around and, holy smokes, a woman was sitting up on the gurney, stiff as a poker, rasp in her throat. I started towards her, but then I smelled the gas and pulled the alarm lever. Chlorine isn't known for bringing back the dead, but if the woman was brought here by mistake, alive, perhaps the gas could have irritated her mucous membranes enough to wake her. Chief, you're braiding another of your chains of hypotheticals. We need practical observations. Pull out the patient, then write the monograph, not the other way around. You're right. Tell me what I should do with this device, this prototype, I think you called it? I already told you, but fine, let's go over it again. You're holding an experimental prototype meant to dissipate tuberculosis miasma. Remember the consumption task force? Kaufman, Gorski, Anna Stein. At least the gas hasn't done you any lasting damage. A million little details as always. That's reassuring. I'd feel even better if we could leave this morgue. This is something that was referred to in a previous dialogue option. There's a dialogue option about what stories to tell, and one of the options of stories to tell was about our. I guess they're all different ways of describing the same story. They mentioned that we had it was full of bodies. A damsel. Well, that's the woman, and it mentioned our assistant that's with his million little details. This magnificent gizmo disperses an aerosol of disinfectant. First, you load the prototype. There's bottles of solution in the beige cabinet. Best set it on the table while you load it. You can't do it while you're holding it. I wonder if this will work against chlorine, though, considering it was designed for mustard gas. Next, you wind the prototype up. To prime it, hold this crank here and turn it clockwise. This Anna Stein isn't just a medic. She's a natural-born mechanical engineer. What an ingenious device. Well, Gorski assembled it. Anna took charge of optimizing the chemical composition. Either way, they're a talented team, and the military likes them. And then I just released the contents into the gas. Correct. Wind up the crank, then release. The gas should dissipate. Theoretically. Wind, release, dissipate. Repeat until you reach our resurrectee. Just remember, the chlorine will keep coming while our supply of solution is finite. Just try to be as efficient as possible, Chief. And what about the deceased woman? Where is she now, and in what state? The formerly deceased woman, Chief. Before the gas became too thick to see through, she was sitting on a gurney at the opposite end of the morgue. From there, I know as little as you. She may have gone back to being deceased. They seem to have added these little diamonds that indicate when a conversation is going to end if you click an option, which was missing in previous games. It was hard to tell if it was intentional or not. The chances are infinitesimal, but if we really are dealing with a spontaneous resurrection, and if we lose the patient, I'm going to commit some crime against humanity. The longer I hold the crank, the stronger the effect. Operating range is supposed to be decent. One load is good for 20 uses. To load the prototype, I need a stimulant, an anesthetic, and a toxin. First thing we teach lab assistants, the best stuff is in the beige cabinets. Evaporate. Residue goes in the prototype. Should be enough for 20 uses. Before you can load the prototype, you need to load it. I remember. I saw load up here. Load the prototype. Before you can use the prototype, you need to load it. Ingredients are in the cabinet. The loading station is on the table. They're really tutorial heavy in this game.
What were you expecting? Huh?
Feels like a bit more so than before.
Get enough of your idealism.
I keep trying to drag, we actually need to click. One of each. Should be all we need. Oh boy. That's the chlorine. Oh, did I press 3? I press 1. There we go. 20. Okay, so let's quickly try to reach her. Maybe not explore that hard, since we have limited use. Oh my god, who laid this place out like this? To last a while. There she is. Nope, can't get more from the beige cabinets right now. Yeah. Are you Death? You have Death's eyes. I have the eyes of a man who's just walked through 40 meters of poisonous gas without protective goggles. At the end of the tunnel, there's a second tunnel. You can tell me everything you've seen in your posthumous visions later. We need to get you out of here at once. Oh. At the end of the tunnel, there's a second tunnel. What does that mean? It means that when you die, there's neither life nor death, but something else entirely. Like a coin falling on its edge. Or a Mobius strip. You shouldn't concern yourself with such things, though. Can I have my prototype back? Take it. It spins all boring. Clockwise only. Grandpa Simon has clocks that spin every which way. Besides, the train's already dead. Couldn't save it in time. You understand transplantation. At least a bit. Indeed, a heart can't survive outside the body. I'm sick of this game. Go away. We're gonna play cat in the old hat. We still have time before the sun sets. Wait. What about my microscope? I'll trade you another tail for it. We didn't take your microscope. Where is it then? If the prototype is my right hand, the microscope is my left. I can't collect data without it. The dogheads must have taken it. Khan and Notkin got a deal. All the war spoils get split down the middle. They don't care about hearts. Not in any of their many faces. Why would they need another one? What does your microscope do? Is it alive? Dogheads? Khan and Notkin? A heart and a face? I don't understand a single word. That's because you're kind of silly, mister. They're all simple words. Right. I suppose you passed my belongings along to some other gang, and I need to go to them to get my microscope back, am I right? Khan must have given it to Capella as a gift. These are a lot of familiar names, damn. Are you stupid? She hates kaleidoscopes after what happened to that stained glass. No, Khan wouldn't have given it to her. If it's something that changes things when you look through it, he must have given it to Grandpa Simon. Grandpa Simon loves things like that. Khan wouldn't have given it to anyone, not before he looks at it himself, or after, either. But he's honest, even if he's wicked. He'd give it back to the owner. If you find him in town, he'll deal fair. Where can I find him? Well, if they brought your micro kaleidoscope into the polyhedron, you won't see it again. No use looking there. Try the stairways to heaven. The dogheads like them. Think they look like polyhedron. There's one right here, in the maw. You know, after this conversation with its Capellas, Khans, polyhedrons, I'm beginning to see the shape of the world you live in. It sounds complicated, but it can't be worse than human anatomy, can it? And so our nightmare journey begins, doesn't it? Doesn't necessarily look like it's opened up yet. Oh, the town gate. That's not too far off. Alright, well, the journey begins, everybody. Buckle up.